The Lamesfest is an underground movement for underground people, just underground everything in it, underground kids, underground adults. It's just a movement for people to be involved in and have like a sense of purpose.
I'm the barriers I took a nigga's bitch. Yeah, I'm that nigga, yeah, I'm a fucking brick. All this bread that took it, got a nigga pissed. Fuck the government, I'm doing my own shit. So what's good myself? Keep the always.
When we first started making music as a collective, we had two separate groups.
Yeah.
I was in Five Hearts, which was me, Trek, Joe.y, and Rare and Ugly, like doing video and like production and stuff. And you guys was like
We was Kill the World, KTW. It was me, HOK, Howard, and Sinner, and then there was two other man there, but we're not gonna chat about them innit, like.
Not giving them any attention.
Nah. but
yeah,
they're the only important ones.
Yeah, and we just kind of came together after me and Howard. You guys put Howard onto like my music.
Yeah.
And he like DM'd me and we started like talking about music, and we planned like originally we only planned like one feature, but we decided to like make a
collab tape.
Collab tape, called Southeast Demons, and like I remember we was gonna call it something else, but then I just thought that the name just came to my mind, and I was like, this is a hard name.
He hit me up saying like, yo bro, your music's hard. And I'm thinking, I've been fucking with this guy's music for a minute, and he says to me, let's make a collab tape. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Obviously the type of person I am, like I was just longing on the features. So the first Issy Demons tape was just me and him. It took a while to come out because of me. Sorry about that, Scumboy, for watching this.
And then we did the second one.
Oh my god, the second Demon tape.
With both of our groups like
collab. And
then
it just got bare traction.
Bare like people fucked with it. Like,
and then the video we did whatever as well, that got hella traction.
That's the one that kind of like put us
on the map.
Yeah.
To be fair.
And then from there, I feel like everything changed from that song. Really.
Cocaine on your ass, she does the hokey pokey fuck me. I just wanna fuck until my dick fall off like honey. Bitches on my line, they hit me up like Sinner, what you got? Bitch, I got this demon dick, I pull it out on fucking phone. I don't give a fuck, it's a cult. I don't wanna go. Bitches see me up like let's go. I just wanna fuck. If a mama see this, oh well, I'ma off myself. Kill another nigga, oh well.
Fill out the stick with the clip, and you know it's true. You're all on that lovey-dovey shit, but you know the drill. Southeast Demons come to party for no reason. You niggas be playing and boring, how I bring the seasoning. Hesitate with the blade on that Zagazar shit. Same with the stick, make him bend, make him rip. That girl got cootie, just give me the lip. This is where we said I cannot give you shit. Say bitch.
Do you remember why we made whatever? Like the song that puts on the map. Do you remember why?
Yeah.
Because we went to Dartford Fair and we had all the people like coming up to us like, hey, you need any numbers? You need numbers?
Oh,
you need numbers? Like, you got Riz. And
there was this guy, he was like following us around and he fell asleep.
That's why I got on the track.
Remember, he fell asleep on the roller coaster.
Oh my god!
He was so
fried. Some guy's so fried. He just got on a roller coaster.
We looked back, we went on the same roller coaster. We looked back and he was there like...
just on the ride. And we was walking around and creasing, and then Ty had found this beat and he showed me it, and it was like a ski type beat, and we was like, all right. And then he made this really like this verse with like an upbeat flow with like drill lyrics, but like if you raise your pitch and said like shouted drill, sort of thing. And then you got on it with your vibe, and then we went out that one day, and I think your verse had already been done by the time I got on it.
Yeah. Time you got
and then you'd mention me in it, the song in it, so he was like, oh, we just got, there's a open verse, we'll get on there. And then that happened in Dartford Park, and it inspired me to write my verse.
Yeah, it was hard.
I went back and did it. That was jokes.
And then we did the video for it. And
oh
my
god.
We got like all of our like people who like fucked with us like come to London, went to Chinatown
and just turn
Central.
Up. And just turn up.
And we just walked through, like didn't give a fuck, just recorded.
No
everywhere.
Vibes everywhere.
Everyone was fucking with it as well.
Like, yeah, people are loving it.
No one like even like looked like some way about it. They're all like.
They was like, all right.
Originally, that song was literally just gonna be my song. I recorded like a little verse on it, and then like I just didn't finish it, and then I sent it into the group chat, And then like the whole of SE were like, yo, we need to put this on the tape. Like, we need to jump on this. So I gave it to them, and they, like, other people jumped on it. And even before we dropped the song, we was getting like so much hype from it. So that was our first little buzz. Like, it wasn't a big buzz, but like it was enough to like get us a little bit of recognition. And then when we dropped the video, like, people were telling me that it's on the Explore pages, and then they're seeing it everywhere.
Yeah. And we got like that sponsor from Kinklo.
Yeah.
Like an underground brand as well. Like, that's what I mean. Like, anything
jokes.
to help.
They
the
just ran up to us,
sick.
saw us, and was like, "Yo, do you want to wear our clothes in the video?" And we was like,
yeah,
"Fuck."
we did it. Yeah. And that video is probably like one of my favourite ones. Even though
100.
the song's like a bit like, I can't listen
Yeah,
to
the
it
song
anymore.
now I don't like. It's washed.
But like, yeah.
But like, I like the video because of the memories and nostalgia it holds. And then it was like the first fat link up.
Yeah.
Properly.
We just called it whatever. I think that's not even like what it was supposed to be called.
No, like,
I think Ty
was.
it as
We needed to go out or something, and he literally saved it as whatever, and it just
yeah,
stayed
and
like
that's just
that.
how we named it.
It's kind of funny.
But not everyone remembers it as like whatever. It's just like,
Yeah, it's just whatever.
sick. Gave a new meaning to whatever.
Yeah.
Scumboy ain't dotties, fuck my 40s, yeah, you know he is. You bitch, hit my line, yeah, she love my jizz. SE demons in the cut, yeah, you know the biz. Ayo G, you got wrist. Yeah. Cool up my goth bitch, and yeah, she slip wrist. We do not back blades, we back out the clips. And if it's a blade, we aiming for ribs. Dip it and rip it, you resting in piss. Hey guys, I'm back. If you really want it, then you're fucking to the dead. Aim my dotties at your mommy, give me some head. Sabu's on my bed, finna chop off your head. Catch your mama fucking nigga, go back to bed.
So the beginning of Lamesfest record, like, it's always been like an idea that I wanted to do, have a record label and stuff. So I was just like, yeah, let me make one. And the thing is, like, I wanted to like work with Scumboy from SE Demons from time ago. I gave him like his first show. Then after that, I was like, oh, I want to start this label. Who would I get on the label? And his name popped in my mind straight away. And then fucking Howard, H-O-K, he DM'd me like saying, oh, boom, we need a manager. Do you know anyone?
Yeah, he was like, look, I like you guys. I'll manage you. I'll take you under my wing. I was like, jeez. And then we went to the studio. Deij was like, there'll be no contract signing. This is like a verbal agreement that we're going to do this year. And I would say like it was all casual. Like we sat there and it was like, phew. Like we just laughed. Nothing. It was nothing formal. It was all like, it was just energies. Like we met the guy for the first time that day, like properly, and it felt like we met him. We've known him for years, really, because the energies wasn't there. Like it was like we just connected so easily, and it was amazing.
Yeah, that was hard.
We just woke up in that bitch, and we knew Deij, and Deij put us on. Deij was a person that gave us our first ever show.
Yeah,
and we pull up, and just it was like no professionalism. I'm pretty sure Deij started blasting porn or some shit in the studio when we got signed. Yeah. It was hard.
That was fun.
That's a memory. Just pulling up like, oh my god, we're gonna get signed, like, and then just like it was just a vibe. Yeah, it was so chill.
It was so sick.
Yeah. So I signed them basically. The meeting went really well. Literally, like as soon as I met SE Demons, like they were family straight away in it because they were just. They're on the same vibe as me. We got like the same humor, everything, like same fucked up humor. Like, so when I met them, it weren't no awkward thing from the jump. It was just like it's like I knew them for time, innit? And now like they're my guys, like my sons. So yeah, man, the meeting we had went really well, and we worked together really well. That's the thing. I just can't wait for this quarantine to be over so we can actually get on with all our plans, because obviously this apocalyptic lockdown thing has just fucked so much plans, basically. So many plans. We had so many shows planned, lined up, but now, nothing right now. But yeah, man, them SE Demons, those are my guys. Literally my son. They're gonna go very far, very far, because they're bare young and just. The thing is with them, I don't even have to tell them like raw. I don't have to tell them anything. They're just making music, which is just all I need them to do.
I'm running
around. I'm running and running and running and running and running and running and running around. I'm running and running and running and running and running and running and running around. I'm running and running and running and running and running and running and running around. Cold world plastic trapped in cellophane, drip fed to my soul through my membranes. I've been overwhelmed loads just lately. I know I never need a mirror when I face me. What's a home if no one's living in it? And what's a heart if I can't feel it beating? Well, what's tonight if I can't take a minute? And what's a life if I am never breathing? I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running around. I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running around. I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running around. I'm running, always running. I used to feel sick every morning. I grew up inside my head. Imagination turned to fear and loathing. I hated people and I loved my bed. But nowadays everybody says, hey, love your music, man. I've been following the ways and the fears that were there back before I was here. I've just learned to manifest themselves in different ways, hey. I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running away. I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running away. I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running away. I'm running, 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 ay. I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running away. I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running away. I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, I'm running away. I'm running, 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 ay. Cold old plastic trapped in cellophane, drip fed to my soul through my membranes. I've been overwhelmed loads just lately. I know I never need a mirror when I face me. Well, what's a home if no one's living in it? And what's a heart if I can't feel it beating? Well, what's tonight if I can't take a minute? And what's a life if I am never breathing, just running?
We all kind of formatted, went to this one studio one day up Charlton, and then Dave just sat us down and was like, I'm signing you all.
Label?
Yeah, label. Free stuff. Free gigs. Help.
Free? In general?
Everything. Yeah, no,
everything free.
It was a blessing though.
Yeah, it was.
So like he came to us and he's telling us, oh, like I want this to be a collective, like I like you lot. So he just took us under the wing, and then that was a good day. Like I really enjoyed that day.
We didn't have much saying at SE Demon's name, but I don't really care.
I don't really care either.
It's more about who we're with.
It's more about who we are than
what the
name is. You know what I mean? It's kind of it's more than just a name. Do you know what I mean?
It's more than just a name. It's the image and the people that you're gonna have a swig of the honey.
Yeah.
SE Demons just came about from me, him and Reese knew each other, and then Reese knew Ty and Lewis.
Yeah. We kind of got introduced to them through Reese.
Yeah, we got introduced to Ty and Lewis through Reese, and we all made rap music. Yeah. And we all knew each other. Yeah. And it just kind of
just fell in place, really. Kind of just fell in place. It
worked out well.
That's kind of what happened, really. That's the origins.
When I say label, it's like a loose term. I'm more like I'm a manager, yeah, but I'm more like a spiritual guide. You know what I mean? Man's just helping them out. If they need some advice, I'll tell them. You know what I mean? But it's one of those ones where, as the label, my idea of a label is so twisted and different to like what an idea of an actual label is. My thing is just like, wow, just wait till the clout comes and then boom, it's just on some sick label. You know what I mean? Bare different people on the label. So I got Yellow Bambi on the label as well. So it's like, it's just about like, in 10 years, people be like, oh, what was Lamesfest Records? There were these people, this person was on the label when it was sick.
Lamesfest, for me personally, is like the real centre of the underground in London and like South UK for like alternative rap and alternative music.
It's more close.
I think it's a bit more chaotic, but it's also quite a tight-knit community. Like everyone knows each other, or at least knows of each other. And it's got a different vibe to like other gigs, because I play in a couple of bands as well, but the atmosphere is nothing like what you get at these shows. No,
it's a lot.
That's why I enjoy
better
it so
atmosphere.
Much. It kind of is.
It's a better atmosphere.
Everyone is always on mosh pits and just absolutely going mental.
You get too many dead crowds nowadays, I feel like, in other genres. Yeah. But everyone always goes fucking mad. So it's always a good night.
To an extent, anything goes. You know what I mean? Like everyone's like welcome, and like anyone's welcome to fucking like showcase their work as well on stage. That's what makes it different to everyone else. Because like in other scenes, there's like a lot of like clickiness, and like a certain sound will be hated on, and like certain people won't be like welcome, etc. Because I was in a metal scene before I started doing this sort of stuff, and like the shows were fucking dead, and the bands were so fucking elitist, and like it's just different, man. It's just more of a community. That's the thing. Like everyone knows each other, and everyone's like supportive of each other. That's the thing. Like otherwise there wouldn't be a scene, and people wouldn't know about the scene. Like the difference between this scene and other scenes is that it's fucking real and it's fresh.
I pretty much got my first 1,000 followers from playing guitar. Like literally I picked up guitar because of my favourite band Trivium. They inspired me. Matt Heafy's a fucking god. And I just fell in love with the riffs, so I started tracking my progress daily playing guitar, and that's how I somehow got a following through that shit. Like people fuck with my personality, who I am. That's how I got my starter beginner fan base, if you want to call it that. And as soon as I made the transition from metal to rap, you know, those two worlds don't collide, or should I say they do collide. They don't get on. You've got a load of elitists in the metal community. It's kind of like Bloods and Crips, man. It's like it's conflict. So I remember having a load of, you know, negative feedback on that shit from that transition. Like you're just making shit music, you know. Where did the talent go? Especially talent. They emphasize on the word talent. And then that's when I pretty much just removed my circle. Like I got rid of all the negative people around me, and I started to take this solo music serious in the name of Scotty Overdose.
I think it's just like a lot of angsty kids expressing themselves, and I suppose kids do that in different ways. But I feel like it's quite unique in a sense where, like, all the kids have like or I keep saying kids, but all the people who do it, all are hungry. You know what I'm saying? Like they're all hungry. Like you can see it in their eyes when they're performing and when they're you know, putting their music out there. It's given like people who might not necessarily have a path in school or have a path in work or whatever, and it's given them a way of like feeling like they want to get something from life, and also like have a wicked time about it. And even in some ways, even if it doesn't, you know, you're not going for, you know, I'm going to make a giant career out of music. Even if you're just doing it because you love music, it gives you like a lot of fun. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it just gives you something to feel good about, you know, look forward to, right?
Lamesfest, like for me, it's about like, it's not about like what I'm posting on the Instagram, what I'm posting on YouTube, really. Like that's just like added stuff. But like the real Lamesfest experience is if you leave your house and come to a show, join in a mosh pit, or if you're not joining in, just come to the show and vibe, meet people. Like it's not about like clout. It's not even, I don't care how many like followers like an artist has. I just care about like whether they're good or not. You know what I mean? Like, and the whole Lamesfest thing isn't about like gaining any sort of clout off anybody. It's just real shit. Like I'm a nice person. Like I just like talking to people and like meeting people in it. So that's what that post was about. Like just just real shit, like real life stuff, bro, like human interaction. That's what Lamesfest is all about. Lamesfest isn't about this internet shit. It's about real life, real interaction with real people. We taking this shit back to the 90s where it's just about live shows and underground artists. No bullshit, fuck clout, fuck how many views, followers you have. That shit's all irrelevant here. We'll leave that to the pretentious fucks in the shitty industry.
Honestly, with like the post on the Lamesfest like story about it not being about like clout and like it being about like human interaction, it's so like
true.
It's true. Like it's like, why would you just sit in your room and like watch videos in it when you can like go to a show, meet us? Like we're not gonna like not talk to you. Like we're so calm. Like we'll just be people. Like, yeah, like. Yeah, that's at the end of the day, like everyone's just people. Like you can come talk to us. Like, I don't see like why people.
I find people interesting. I find conversation fun. Like more than sitting behind my phone screen and seeing the numbers.
You just see bad people do stupid shit just for like getting attention.
Yeah, and
it's like I'd rather just go do shows, meet lots of people, then
have
fuck
fun
with it, and then them just like go and like follow me
and build that. Yeah, like meet.
And
then
that's
you
more
get the
like,
fan base around you.
That's more of a stronger fan
and you can
base.
feel the genuine energy. What energy are you feeling through a phone screen other than the fucking light hitting your eyes? Yeah.
Yeah, I think with regards to bringing shit back from the 90s, I think it's a sick concept because nowadays everyone and everything is so run by social media and numbers and views and judging a person's content and music based on the numbers they've done rather than based on what they're creating. Often people don't even get a shot unless they have the numbers. So Deij, with the Lamesfest, you have people with a following of like, if we're talking about Instagram followers, you've got people with 90 followers and people with like 28,000 or something like Josh. Like there's no bias with it. You can have anyone and everyone, and bringing shit back like the 90s, there's no ability to be biased and judge a person based off their numbers or views or who they are or how they portray themselves online. You get to see the pure reality of everyone and everything.
It's the music itself.
Yeah, I don't know. I rate Deij for saying that, man. He's completely correct, and I think it shows because Lamesfest is such a level playing field. You know, you go there and everyone's got love for everyone. It's not cliquey. Whereas a lot of you know, something I thought earlier on in the year was like a lot of people would create a platform like Deij has created and use it to be like, this is my platform. These are the people who run it. These are my friends, and then the rest of you man are just there to like, you know, support or whatever. You man are just there to be fans. But it works both ways. The support system works both ways. You know, the artists, the people who follow it, it's all a level playing field. You can talk to anyone. There's no, you know, judgment, no presumptions. No one's better than anyone.
Like, I look up to Deij a lot and think, wow, like he's really doing something well because he's giving out these shows. He's putting his own money into these shows. Like, and he's an artist himself in the underground. Like people need to remember that he's an artist himself, but he's putting his own money for other artists in the underground to perform at. Like, he wants their faces on the front of these pages so people like find out about them. Like, yeah, it's his brand and it's his label and it's his this, but he's an artist himself and he's putting on shows for other artists. Like, there's not many artists that actually do that, like, at all in the scene. I'm pretty sure he's the only artist that does that in the scene. Like, puts on all these shows just to everybody. Like, when is it usually? It's usually like every couple months that he'll have a show, and that's coming out of his pocket, no one else's pocket. That's his money that he's putting in there. And even if he doesn't make 100% profit back or whatever, he doesn't care as long as people came and had fun and like enjoyed the show. That's all he cares about.
It is good. It's a good.
We wouldn't be here without Deij.
No, we wouldn't. Deij, yeah.
Our magic manager, man. Fucking sorting us.
Like, he was kind of like our, almost like, I don't know what you. He was like
herder of the sheep.
Yeah,
he got us all to.
He was like the messiah for us, I'd say.
Yeah, free gigs, free studio time. You know, like, and he is one of them people that is genuinely in it for the passion of the music and wanting to create a scene.
Absolutely.
Because it's just the opportunity he's given us.
We started in like 2016. Me and my bro Dylan, we were just at a train station one day and we was like, raw, like we need to like put on shows and stuff for my friends first of all, innit? So I put on like 2 shows, one in 2016, 2 in 2017, which no one really knew. Well, quite a few people came, but it was like more like my friends, It was just like, it was about putting on shows for my friends. And then boom, come 2018, November time, I was like, raw, like, let me just open it up to like more people that I don't know and stuff. And yeah, it just went from there really. Like I was just like, raw, let me just get bare people to play. People I don't know, random people, make new connections and stuff. So that's how it came about. Just a whole rebrand in 2018, like more marketing. I fixed up the logo, fixed up everything, got it properly in it.
Yeah, no, Deij is a fucking you put him on this earth, but that guy is the most genuine, humble person you'll ever meet in your life, and not a bad bone in his body. So yeah.
Back in like 2016, literally they were like the only other shows that I knew about were like shows that my friend, like one of my best friends, Joe's was doing, Fat Llama shows, and then a few other little shows. And there was not really like an alternative underground scene back then, like a tool or two. And I know most of the people that are in the scene now were probably way too young to even be going outside the house. Like they probably had curfew. Like back then, there were no shows literally, and I was just like, fam, I need to just bang shows for me and my friends, you know what I mean? Because, and even if there were shows, they were like more like fashiony kids, like not really like, they ain't trying to jump in the mosh pit, that innit? So yeah, I had to make them for me and Milo and more our sound and our vibe, the mosh thing really. So I was just like, oh yeah, let's just slap these shows on. Banged out the first one in 2016. It was sick. It was so sick. And then I banged out a 2-day like mini festival in 2017, which went really well as well. But that was just locally, like just my friends, a few other people, but they're all like really associated with me.
In like the context of Lamesfest, I feel like underground is like very much people trying things out, people supporting each other, this very like organic kind of process that happens where like on any given bill, like any given lineup, it might be someone's like one artist will be doing shows all the time, and then another artist on the same lineup, it might be their first show, but because it's so like accepting and people will still turn up. I mean, if you're good, like people are still going to turn up to your stuff as much as a more established artist. And I think the underground really is about freedom because you don't have that pressure, or there's not that perceived pressure. And I guess that's why it differed from the other events I was going to before more often, which were more like they might have label backing or the backing of a magazine, or a lot of them, the free ones, would have like a brand and you'd go because there was free drinks and it was like sponsored and it was in a more kind of, for want of a better word, like prestigious venue than some underground events would be in. But I don't think that in any way means like, exactly like I said before, they're not more fun. I think the underground is fun, and it's where like amazing stuff comes out because there isn't that pressure. I think the only pressure that really comes is from the artists themselves, and also like wanting to, it's more of a motivation than a pressure, I think, in the underground from other people. It's more like, oh, I'm doing my thing and other people are doing their thing and I want to keep being involved in this, so I'm going to keep pushing myself. And I think for a lot of people, Lamesfest is that gateway because it's really good and it's got a standard to it, and it's got a reach of people like enjoy going to it, they're quite committed to it, but it's not like a closed door. Like if you knock on it, it will open for you, provided you're like committed to it. And I think that's what kind of shows Deijuvhs' personality. Like I think Deijuvhs' personality is like open-minded and he's friendly, and he also is still very much rooted to like his experience as an artist, and his experience of like encountering those closed doors or people who had a kind of power or a gatekeeper in a situation, and they just were like, nah, I'm not going to take a risk, I'm not going to put someone on who's trying something a bit different, I'm just going to stick with the same thing. So that's why at Lamesfest, yeah, you get the rock nights, you get the metal nights, you get the people who like all kinds of stuff, the rap stuff, and it's interesting like seeing how, since I've been going to them, it's like the crowd changes. Like the Chill Fest one last year was like so different to the last Lamesfest I went to, but it was still like great in its own way.
When does someone go from being underground to mainstream? Because what is it, like streaming figures on like Spotify or Apple Music or whatever, or is it gigs, or is it the amount of like money they earn? It could be. I think an underground scene is something that comes up. An underground scene is something that comes up from the grassroots and is like it's created like punk was.
It's kind of
like,
raw
for the people.
It's raw.
Yeah, it's
the
not.
underground scene is raw.
Because these days it seems like all these new emerging mainstream artists, they all just seem like fucking industry plants. None of them seem like
people
actually
that have come from the
organically
underground,
designed.
like an underground artist, is like they're raw
We've
and
climbed
they do
the
exactly
ladder.
what. Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, and even if we don't, even if none of us ever hit mainstream figures, we're in this for the passion. It's not because mainstream artists, too many of them care about like
figures and money and
figures and streams and sales and just the kind of
stuff you shouldn't care about if you've got a passion for music. Really.
Yeah, if you care about music, you'll make music regardless of who you listen. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It can be a small audience or you can have millions of people, but if you genuinely enjoy creating what you create, like if that is your art and that is what you should be doing, then regardless of who's listening, I think you'll always make it.
I think a good example of what makes of how an artist has kind of converted from the underground to a more mainstream area would be Joji, because his music before he went kind of I guess mainstream, it was just it was technically underground. It was it was like a sub community of people who liked his music, and I think when what the defining moment was when he decided to go almost more like politically correct, if that makes sense, because the underground it's quite what's the word, anti everything almost, or is anti something in a way. And I think the second you kind of start to fit into the box, if that makes sense, you're no longer underground. If you're kind of out of the box, doing your own thing, not following any kind of structure per se, that's the kind of the point when you become something else other than underground.
Especially with like artists like Bones and like X and stuff like that, they were like underground for a long time, but they still had like a cult following that was still like listen to what they were doing because they didn't change what like the
gradually increasing, innit?
Yeah,
it kind of just like
bigger. So that's like them bringing the underground to like
and expanding it.
Yeah,
innit? Like
just getting more people into the underground, and that's like the kind of like the difference. It's like people can like get more views and like following and become like mainstream and like just follow what like you're supposed to do.
It's kind of a choice.
Yeah, but like you can also like do the same thing but like bring the underground like with you. But some people just leave the underground behind and like just start being like more mainstream about stuff.
It depends on your personal morals and your like personal views.
Yeah.
And like what you believe in, I think determines whether you go mainstream from underground or you stay underground.
Yeah.
I think it's just your morals and your heart and your mindset.
When I was about 13 or 14, I started listening to X, and then that's when I realized I was like, oh raw, like you can really just be versatile as hell and like make banging music each time. So like he was really like X was really the reason I said, oh, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna start making music. I started writing before I knew who he was, but then when I like started listening to him, I was like, oh shit, this is really gonna push me to make music, because I was like, you can actually just do whatever you want, like, and make it sound good. Like he literally opened my eyes to see that. I was more like one-minded before. I was like quite like down to like only one genre and shit. But after listening to him when I was younger, it kind of opened my eyes more to see like I can do whatever I want.
People that never used to like speak to me or anything used to just be like, "Oh, your new track was hard. When's the next show?" And I'm like,
"Oh my god!"
Bro,
when I first met you, like over like a year ago,
Yeah.
we didn't have any like, I don't know. I'd say because I didn't do my first show before I met Reese, obviously. So the first time I started to meet Reese, we'd be walking through a place where like near him called Dartford, where he lives in that, and you just hear, "Is that Scumboy?" Yeah, like we're walking through, and we were all like, "The fuck."
It's very weird.
And
Like,
it just gradually got worse.
I know, it's really like mad. Like, I feel like one of like the most like weird like memories I have of like just starting doing music is like my parents like taking me to like the first show, the first Lamesfest.
Yeah.
Waiting for like 6 hours and then driving back, and then they're like, "Heard it from like here, it was really good," and I was like,
It's just hella random.
And like I played like one of our songs one take by me and Deijuvhs in the car, and they really liked it, and I was like, "Whoa, mad."
When I was performing Down in the Dirt, I got off the stage and just got down in the crowd and just went rounds to different people, hand on their shoulder, and a couple of them knew the lyrics as well. Well, I mean, it is just one hook, to be fair.
To be fair,
it just blew my mind that I was performing my song off the stage around random people, and they were singing the lyrics to my face, to me.
There's one bit that was fucking sick as well. Was that when we were performing, there was one bit where it was the lyrics where we turned around and just looked at each other and just said.
We did.
Yeah,
we looked at each other.
It
was
and we just both look at me. This. Yeah, it was amazing.
Oh yeah, on the last line of the whole song.
So I reckon my most memorable moment at Lamesfest was seeing his jungle, my boy Jamori, or Akai, you might know him as on SoundCloud, getting a face tat before his set, and then also my boy Psyche doing his first performance. I think that was a special moment, and it was mad because they were both in it was both in the same. It was at the same event, right? It was just one. It was at the same Lamesfest. It was great.
I have this friend. She does like stick and poke tattoos. She's a really good artist. And I was just like, you know what? I really want to have like one of your stick and pokes on my face. And she was like, "Oh, cool. I'm always busy. She's always busy. Uni, work. It's like very hard to get like time off." So I was like, "Okay, cool. I've got you a ticket to Lamesfest. Come to Lamesfest and do it there." So I patterned that. All of that got sorted out, and like maybe like halfway through the show, I decided to we decided to just get it starting, and it's really funny because like everyone was moshing whilst this was happening, and like I was so scared that like the needle was gonna go into my eye, but I didn't want to stop or anything. Like, but yeah, that's the story behind it.
My most memorable memory at Lamesfest, shit. I mean, we'll probably have to be the first ever Lamesfest because me and my boys were very apprehensive because it was our first time meeting the Lamesfest guys. Well, sort of, and it was our first sort of proper show together, you know. So it was crazy. It was insane. Like that first performance, like the energy was crazy. Like I was very apprehensive. I didn't know whether people was gonna fuck with us or not because I believe we performed last. I can't really remember, but I just know that we went up there and we killed it. The energy was there, and like yeah, man, it was in some dusty like room where the walls were falling apart and shit, but it was lit. You know what I'm saying? Like that added to the energy. It was insane. So like my greatest memory was my first memory of Lamesfest, which was I believe it was November 24th. I could be wrong. But yeah, man. So shout out to Deijuvhs for putting on something that was crazy. These fuck boys, I leave out wanna be some holler with hot noise in the I'm a fucker with a front, make a mouth, I'll be also up on my down days. I don't give a fuck about it. She be talking to one fucker, she be unable to walk in the morning, just be walking. I'll be kicking the door and I got these foes up in labor like they be giving me coke. I'm
Yeah, so I remember pulling up at Lamesfest. I think I was on my own or I was with someone. I don't know, one of the Love Sept members, but I got there before everyone else, and it was the only people there were there was just some people in the bar, and there was just this guy outside. I think he was smoking a cigarette or something. And turns out that was Isaac, or v.ri, Vanilla Rice, whatever you want to call him.
Oh my god! So yeah, no, the very first. So basically, what happened is, obviously, Dex, he is in this YouTube channel called like PAQ, and I used to watch that. I used to like rinse that out, and I've like followed like all the members of it, and then I followed Dex as well, and like obviously I was following him for ages. Then one day he puts on his story, like this is like when I started making my first project. This is when I first started like making this kind of music, and I was just like, oh, I wish I could do shows, and like because it didn't feel like when you're outside of the scene, it doesn't feel like anyone reciprocates like the underground music. It's like oh, the UK is just like Afro beats and like drill rap and like all this kind of stuff. It doesn't feel like anyone's like making the sort of like alternative rap kind of stuff. And then I saw like Dex like post this thing on his story. It was like I think it was Henny's verse in I forgot what song it is, but it's Henny's verse. And it was like so it's like all this like shouty rap, and there's like all this kind of cool stuff. I was like, oh my god! And then it said like the UK's like UK stand up or like whatever. I don't know. It had something like that, and I was just like, oh my god, like this looks sick. So I like instantly went on it, followed it. It was called Lamesfest. I followed it. I instantly I saw what it was about, and I was like, I DM'd the Lamesfest account. I was like, I fuck with this, like blah blah blah. I'm like down to help with anything because I was so eager because this was the first thing I've ever seen in the UK of like you know this kind of like I didn't realise there were other people making this kind of music. I was like, oh my god, like obviously there like were people in the UK that make this kind of music, but I was like never felt like anyone was connected. It always felt like, you know, so I was just, oh my god, like I wanna fuck with this. Like this is like the start of something. I can see it because I haven't seen it before. And yeah, I DM'd him, and then yeah, that's shot that DM, and then Deij, like I must have like shot that DM, said I'll help with anything because, you know, I was so down to it. And then a few months later or whatever, Deij hits me up with the news like, oh yeah, I was gonna leave this as a surprise, but like I've put you on like this gig, and it was like my first show. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, Isaac. Isaac is the guy because he's one of the first people that ever messaged me. He messaged me just saying he wanted to help out and work, and like that meant a lot to me because like obviously people were DMing me, but he's like one of the first people who really DM'd me, and one of the first like underground artists that I found out and was like, oh, this guy's sick.
I remember he had a mask, he had like a ukulele, and he was banging on about how he wanted to smash his like ukulele or something, or his guitar or something on stage. And we just got talking, and like I was at the time, like I still am, but I was proper like proud the fact that I was in LS, so I was proper like bigging it up that I was in this like mad collective of like mad artists, and I was just like showing him all our music and stuff, and like right from the get go he was like, yeah, I want to join and shit, and I was like, we don't know right now, and started like I was just playing it off like I was some like big manager when I just wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I walk up to Isaac, I spud him. But as soon as we walk, he was there before me. I say, yo, what's good? He sort of came across as kind of quiet at first, and I was like, okay, cool. And then he gets on stage, and I'm like, who the fuck is this geezer? Like, he's off his tits. Do you know what I mean? Like he like he's running around the stage, screaming into the mic, jumping into the crowd, moshing with the microphone. I thought he was gonna fuck up the microphone and fuck up our set. I was getting mad, but nah, man, his energy was crazy. Like he managed to make me laugh, like not in a way laughing at him. Like he gets the crowd going. You know what I'm saying? He gets the room. So yeah, man, my first impression with Isaac is this geezer's fucking mental, but I like him, you know. And my opinion stays the same today. He's just as mental as ever, but we love him.
So yeah, we did the show. Isaac actually, I think he went on first, and he killed it. Isaac just goes over the top with everything. He just went fucking mental on stage. I think at one point he just literally dropped to the floor and probably slammed his head on the floor, and I heard it. And he just stayed there for like 60 seconds, and we thought he was dead or something.
I wanna fuck you away, yeah, fuck, yeah. This is what I crave, yeah, fuck, yeah. Hear what I say, yeah, fuck, yeah. Death to the slave, yeah. Be like me, make no shows you don't like me. Be like me, see for girls in your home, be like me. Y'all just girls in the home, be free. Be like me, I do the shit in the States, I'm mad. Fucking a bitch in a row, flex, fucking a bitch in a row, flex, fucking a bitch in a row, flex, fucking a bitch in a row, so strong, you don't like me, be like me.
But yeah, so we did the show, and everyone. I think we ended the show quite late. It was something like 11 or something, and I at the time I had nowhere to stay in London. I had to try and get myself back to Oxford where I live, but no trains were running, so we kind of just pulled up at Victoria Coach Station because I think that's where everyone was kind of like dispersing, going back home or whatever. And me, Isaac, and Ty, who like the guy I mentioned earlier who produced Die For, we all live outside of London. Ty lives in Birmingham. Isaac at the time lived in Milton Keynes, and I live in Oxford. So we're all stranded in London at Victoria Coach Station. Everyone else left. And the whole time I'm just like talking about Love Sept. I just go bang on like, oh yeah, I want to get in and stuff. I want to get in, and I'm just like giving him some like tips on his music and stuff, and like how he could improve it to get in Love Sept and all that stuff. And we ended up just listening to hella beats, and we ended up sleeping on the floor in this like dirty, disgusting, shitty coach station.
We were just chilling, like it was just vibing after like that. After that show, the energy was like, it felt so good. It was crazy.
When I first met Isaac, it was at the Lamesfest gig. And he was just this little thing, just running around like a ball of energy. Just like, I walked in like just as they'd finished sound check, I think. And I only knew a couple people in LS at that time. I didn't even know you well at that time, I don't think.
We were playing with a balloon.
They were all playing with balloons like little kids, and I ran in, like I walked in, and Isaac was just dashing side to side, and someone had a skateboard, and he just jumped on it, and he was just going in like a little puppy, like a little excited puppy, and he was just running around, and I was like, who the fuck is that guy? And
who the fuck is that guy?
the gig starts, and he's the first guy on, and his set was sick, like so much energy, and I remember as well when he dropped to the ground, and everyone in the crowd thought he passed out, and I was just looking at him, and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Someone give me his Instagram. And at the time, I was in LS. I was a manager, like a co-manager sort of thing. I sort of just got put in there for unknown reasons, but I was in LS for like managerial reasons, like to scout people and whatever. And at the time, LS was sort of not seeking new members, but open to new members being added, and there were a few names in discussion. And at a point, me and LS's old manager we were just chatting about, you know, who do we think would fit in. And after this Lamesfest gig, I was like, what about that v.ri guy, the one who performed at Lamesfest? Like, he was proper energy and everything. And we were talking, and we just ended up coming to the conclusion that he was fucking sick and he would fit in with the vibe perfectly. And then, next thing you know, Isaac's in LS.
And then, I think at the time, I don't think I was actually happy with it at the time. I didn't think he was good enough at the time.
Yeah, you were proper. You wanted
I was
the
just
right
like,
person.
I wanted the right person, and I was just like, this guy ain't it. And then we had a fucking studio session in some fucking dodgy ends. I think that was the day we recorded Burner.
Yeah, that's when we made Burner that day. We made Bully that day. We made Hearts of Crooks that day. That was crazy. We was in the studio in Earlsfield in South London.
I come equipped with a burner. Turn up. 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 I come equipped with a burner. First off, and you see my chopper rip. Leave him in the dirt, split his skull round the corner from the crib. And you see my niggas hit. Chopper left you quiet, so there ain't no talking shit. Slip frost.
There must have been about 12 of us in this small ass studio, right? It can't have been no bigger than, I don't know, a bathroom stool or some shit. No, I'm playing. But there was literally like 12 of us in this room just boiling, like dying, sweating. But it was a good time. Like, I remember it was our first proper group studio session, our first time as a group even like chilling together, you know? Well, once we had Zari and once we had Isaac, you know. So yeah, but the energy was there, you know what I'm saying? People were bouncing ideas off each other. There was no lacking. You know what I mean? We made some bangers that night still.
Me, Henny, Zari just hopped on the track, and then Isaac came in. Took him a couple goes, but he just killed it, and it was sick. He learned, like, honestly, like, it was that one studio session that took him from me thinking, nah, he ain't good enough, to, yeah, nah. And he just, literally in that one studio session, he learned fucking everything.
You could hear his improvement from the beginning of the studio session to the end of it.
Yeah, it
by
was
like
crazy.
6 a.m. in the morning when we were still.
It was a 12-hour studio session as well.
He'd already like improved so much by the morning.
Crazy. And then he's sick now. He's fucking lit.
Yeah. Basically, like, before that, like, I was still, like, you know, at that time, before that, I was still learning how to write rap and how to rap and how to do, and stuff. And, like, when I wrote raps before, like, it would take fucking ages even to write the shittest thing. Like, so I was just, like, before I came in, I was like, I'd never really given writing, like, a proper go, like, because I didn't make many rap songs, and if I did, the verses were really short, and like, yeah, I'd never given that proper go, so I was just like, so nervous going in. I was just like, oh my god, like, I've got to impress, like, these people, like, what the fuck am I gonna do? So I was just like, when everyone was like rapping and doing their stuff, and I was just like trying to write it was very intense at first. I was just like, oh my god, like, I've never done this before, like, I don't even know how capable I am, because me, like, knowing myself before I did that, knowing myself, like, it takes me ages to, like, it took me ages to write and record. Like, I'll deliver, I'll be like, I'll be like, oh fuck, and I fucked up, and I fucked up again, so I have to keep pressing spacebar and, like, keep going back and keep recording again and over and over and over until it gets right. So I was like, I can't do this, I can't do that in the booth, I can't just stop and just be like, go back, keep doing that. So it was like, it came to, I think we were recording Burner. Burner was the one where, like, Burner was the main one that came out of that studio session, and, like, we were writing it, and everyone was, there was 2 songs. There was Heart of Crooks and Burner that came out of that, and Bully came out of that studio session as well. And then so we recorded, recording, and yeah, everyone laid down that verse. Like, oh, I'd like to just write, and I just I gave it all. It was wrote. I feel like, oh my god, like this is I did put out that I did that verse for Burner. Looking back at it, it's it's just an alright verse, and I was like, oh my god. I didn't know I could do that, and I did it, and it was pretty cool, and that was it. And then there was also Heart Crooks, like this, this again. This is when I just first learned how to scream as well. Like, so I was just putting that to use and just doing it, and yeah, man. I don't know. I guess that everyone's energy, like, don't underestimate like the company you keep and the people you surround yourself with, because it really does, like, that energy does rub off on you, and like it does, like, it can either like propel you or it can hold you down. And like being around like Love Sept, being around like everyone like who are so talented, and being around those people and like that energy and that good vibe and like that motivation, and again like that talent, it really does propel you. And it did rub off on me, and I was like, fuck it, like this, like, do it. And it just unlocked like that, like it got rid of that fear of just doing it, and then I just fucking boom, like I could write, I guess,
I don't need that bitch no more. I don't, I love my guy, I love my blood, I love my fam, I love my drugs. I don't need that bitch no more. I don't, I love my guy, I love my blood, I love my look, we is the same, man. We just work with a brain, think it's not gonna play, think it's not gonna play. I just wanna get paid, What? Nothing enough, really funny, so hard, who's waiting? Bitch, we got you, so we can see you scoring the back, throwing it up in the room. Give me a pill, I'm in your fancy. Sing that shit, word. Sing shit, I don't need that bitch no more. I hope, I'm with my guy, I'm with my blood, I'm with my fam, I'm with my drugs. Look, I don't need that bitch no more. I hope, I'm with my guy, I'm with my blood, I'm with my
Fuck how many views, followers you have. That shit's all irrelevant here. We'll leave that to the pretentious fucks in the shitty industry. If you haven't pulled up to the show, do sometime. You won't regret it. Boom.
One more time. Wait. I don't need that bitch no more. I hope, I'm with my guy, I'm with my dog, Hell no. I don't need that bitch no more. I hope, I'm with my guy, I'm with my dog, I'm with my fam, I'm with my drugs.
I don't need that bitch no more. At all. I got my gun, I got my plug, I got my fam, I got my drugs. I don't need that bitch no more. At all. I got my gun, I got my plug, I got my fam, I got my drugs. So I never need no wifey. Hoes wanna cuff me, them as wanna fight me, but I'm never tripping, I finesse that bitch nicely. I don't need that bitch no more, at all. I got my gun, I got my plug, I got my fam, I got my drugs.
Yeah. What are you man doing? Why? Please, big man, bird, fuck off, fam. Why are you here? Corona.